Hello, my name is Schaefer, and I'm a world history teacher at Health Sciences High.
And I'm Erin Scheibel, and I am a support teacher for the 10th grade in her world history classroom. Today we're going to be talking about our United Nations project as a great example of blending learning and how we've used this tool to incorporate these ideas into our project. So our United Nations project is a 4-week project that falls at the end of the year with 1 week of guided instruction, 2 weeks of collaborative and independent learning, and then 1 week of presentations at the end. So what students will be creating with this project is a slideshow presentation, which is focused on one country that is assigned randomly, and they have to look at different aspects of that country, and they're also creating a document. Students will be working in groups of 3 or 4 to complete this project, and then they'll present their findings at the end. We did look through the California state standards for world history, and they happen to fall at the end of the year.
So the purpose for this is clearly stated online, as we also did speak to it face-to-face. It's underneath our Haiku page, United Nations Documents. If you click on it, it'll take you right here to the purpose. So the purpose is for the students to create an informational PowerPoint on the United Nations country. You're going to be giving the class an overview of the political, economic, social, and health aspects of the country. We are a health school, so a huge part of this is to focus on a health topic in another country and look at it more in a world view. With the internet and online learning, it makes it a lot easier to research a country like Argentina or Belize or anywhere where students can see and compare the difference. Including in the content purpose, we also had a language purpose, and that was for them to learn new vocabulary ideas and to discuss global issues as a high school student. So what is GDP? What is mortality rate? What does per capita mean? And in order to understand that on a global scale, but to be able to speak about that as a high school student. The social purpose is these students were going to be working together in groups of 3 or 4, and they would talk with each other within class and then also outside of class through their Google Docs and presentation. So the last thing was to present it in front of the class, and this is hopefully where they would be able to show their understanding of the purpose and talk about their United Nations country.
4 student tasks for this lesson. As we've kind of mentioned before, students will be working together in a group to create this PowerPoint presentation. We have it outlined here, as you can see on our Haiku page, what this project is all about, what they need to include, what they need to do for their presentations. Pretty much everything, an overview of this project is included right here, as we did also go through this research project in class face-to-face with students. So collaboratively, the students will be working in groups and presenting their project, but independently, they can also work on their own to create their own slides. So if the group wants to divide up the slides, one student could take all of the health topics. So when they present, that student's going to know a ton of information about the health of their country and is going to feel more confident in the presentation. So we did try to get some independent learning as well as collaborative learning. Students can do their projects from anywhere, they can do it at home, or they can do it in class together.
So since students were going to be doing a lot of online research, we wanted to make sure that we had some modeling and thinking aloud. So not only did we have a spot right here for research resources where they could click and go to, we also added on our Haiku page, we had a peer teacher who was a high school student, senior. She made short videos that were going to discuss how to use these research tools at an academic level. So staying away from Wikipedia, how do you search something, scholar research on Google Scholar, and whatnot. So she made these videos and then was able to post them. And this was just a great way that we could have our modeling and thinking aloud being accessed online. Additionally, Ms. Scheibel and myself created a PowerPoint that we had online for students to access. Through what to do and what not to do. We wanted to ensure that there was no plagiarism. We wanted to make sure that paragraphs turned into more of these bullet and shortened, condensed information, and busy slides became more clear. And that was a great feedback that we were able to give them in week 2, so that they weren't done with their presentation, but they were making it. That was our kind of informal assessment. Collaboratively, we created very specific groups, and we posted them online. This is heterogeneous groups. We did this to support groups, members that needed a little help, maybe that were a little shy, maybe that students that needed to have support from other students. We had mixed honors students with students that didn't have honors. As students were working collaboratively in class, we were able to informally assess what they were talking about. But then also in week 2, we made a point to go to each group and have them kind of go through their PowerPoint presentation with us in class, to have us give them feedback, and then to have them give us informal feedback. And then this is a great example of students giving feedback to each other. This is Argentina, and a student gave a little message right here to her class, her teammates, about only giving information from 1999 to now. And clearly maybe there was something that was going on that it wasn't happening, so she left a little note there for her classmates.
So not only could students work together in class and make changes simultaneously on the same project, if they were working independently at home, they could still communicate with each other via notes on their presentation or through email or any other source. Independently, we thought that breaking up the slides in the particular fashion would encourage students to divvy up the slides accordingly, and which would promote student responsibility and give them a chance to really shine and show what they can do. We had some students who were really great at putting PowerPoints together and helped their group by making it really graphically pleasing. The way we gave them an individual grade on our rubric was through their presentation. So on the day of the presentation, the entire group gets up together, but students are actually given an individual grade on how well they performed in front of the class. So they get 30 points out of 100 on how well they dressed for the day. We had them dress formally. Their presence, eye contact, volume of voice, and their overall performance in front of the class. So while the rest of the 70% of the project was a group grade, the presentation was an individual grade, which held them accountable for their own work.
Our formal assessment of this assignment was a combination of all 3 parts. The 30% for the oral presentation, and then the other for their actual PowerPoint slide, and then lastly their proposed improvement plan. An example of that is right here. Students were supposed to make a online flyer that would give their country an opportunity to improve itself through $100,000 that the UN, our mock UN, which was our class, would award a presentation of that day. So this is an example of a proposed improvement plan, and the class would vote on who should receive it for that day. We were able to give face-to-face feedback, and then also they had to turn in their PowerPoint presentation a week before they actually presented. And I gave feedback through this rubric right here. Depending on if they were missing something or if they needed to add something, students had a week to fix it. There was no deduction of points if a student went back to fix it. That actually was encouraged because it showed that they were using the feedback in the appropriate way.
So overall, we just tried to use last year's projects and the feedback we got to improve this year and make it more of a blended learning project for them. We had them collaborate in Google Docs and Haiku to create this online learning environment, which was both independent and collaborative. So this project really took our GRR practices that we use every day in class to a blended learning environment, and overall it was a really successful project with some great feedback from students.
Yes, it was very successful, seeing students working online collaboratively, using feedback appropriately, and then being able to present on a United Nations country to their peers at the very end.
We hope you enjoyed.
Thank you.